All right, what I want to talk about is how and when how do you reestablish connection with family, friends, kids when you've been estranged for them or when you've been apart for a while, especially with children. How do you reestablish that? Because sometimes in a using career, you can spend months, maybe even years, not seeing the very people you love the most. You'll spend time because you're out there, unmanaging your life, going out into Pluto and whatnot. So how do we reestablish this? And the first thing is you have to take care of yourself. You must establish yourself first. In fact, I would say with anything in recovery, establish yourself first. They say it's a selfish program. Well, establish yourself first. It's the very first thing. And how do you do that? Well, you spend at least 2 meetings a week. At least 2 meetings a week. Now, this can be AA, NA, CMA, CRA, or CMS, or whatever you want. Church, whatever you want, where you're in a meeting where people know where you are and you're connecting with other people. Just a couple of meetings where you're connecting with other people, you're being able to say what's on your mind and get that off your chest, and you're listening to other people who have been down this road. It's huge. I'd say one in the beginning of the week and then one towards the middle or towards the end of the week. So like a Monday and a Thursday or a Saturday and a Wednesday, something like that, where you're getting this routine down where people can expect to know where you are. Because in using, you just show up anywhere. Nobody knew where you're going to be. So have people established. Another thing is get a sponsor mentor. That person can tell you no. That person will be able to tell you no, tell you, hey, this is a terrible idea. I don't think you should do it. Or someone at least that'll be honest with you, right? Because our intentions are good in the beginning. And if we get some momentum, we start going well, it doesn't take long. If you get off track, you just end up off into Pluto somewhere where you never wanted to go. The way to prevent that is have somebody in your life that'll tell you the truth, that'll tell you no. Don't do that. One more thing is get into a church. Find a church body and then get involved because we need a new people group. If everybody you know uses, you need to know some more people. You need to get involved with other people who don't do that, right? And normally, they're not found at church, right? They're normally trying to do the right thing. So find a church. Even if you want to go to the big church with the smoke and the mirrors and all that, that's fine. Fine, go to a Christian church, right? Just believe in Jesus Christ, that he died, rose again. Just good Bible believing church. Just do that and then get to know people. Click up with them. Find out, hey, get to know them. Get people to know you, because having a different community is huge. Having a different community is huge in transforming your life. There's an old thing. It says, birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together. So if all you know are using people, or when something happens in your life, you have no one to call, nowhere to go except for the using people, who do you think you're going to call? You're going to go back there, right? That's what we do. We're just creatures of habit. What we're used to doing is what we do. So get a sponsor, go to some meetings, establish a church, get your routine set. And once your routine is set, now how long does this take? Well, however long it takes, right? If you're making 2 meetings, and then you skip and don't make any, well, then that's not established. Now you have to start it again and then get established. And then once you're established, now you can take the next step. But you don't get to go to second base until you get to first base, right? And you don't get to third base, and you don't get to go home until you do all the bases. So we want to establish this thing. We want to get to first, second, third, be settled. We don't want to do anything out of emotion, anything out of anxiety or pressure or things like that. Once we're established, now we start reaching out. And it may be you have to reach out to the people who are taking care of your kids instead of them directly. And maybe, after 3 or 4 months, you just say, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm at. Just want to let you know. We don't have a right to demand anything. They're my children and I get to see them. We don't have that right to demand it. None. So maybe just reach out to the people who are taking care of them. Maybe you can talk to them. Maybe you can't. And then don't get upset if you don't get your way. Look, I've seen this time and time again. People that are taking care of other people's children are trying to protect them from somebody who is a lunatic, who is acting like a lunatic, who is just doing crazy stuff all the time. And so they're trying to protect them. They're not trying to keep them or anything. Most of the time, they're just trying to protect them from somebody who's out of control. And you have to admit, hey, if you're unmanageable, you're step one. If that's part of your life, hey, that's the way it is, right? Trust has been broken. Trust has been broken. And if trust has been broken, then that has to be reestablished. And that's not going to happen overnight. That's going to happen step by step. That's going to happen slowly. It's just like if you break a bone, right? You break your arm, it heals slowly. It just doesn't heal overnight. So this is going to take some time. And then consistency, more than something elaborate, just be consistent. Just be consistent. Continue to do the right thing over and over again, because you're not only establishing your new life for them, but you're doing it for you. And when they see that you do it for you, that establishes trust. It establishes credibility. And so we're credible in the things that we're doing. And so we have a sponsor. We go to meetings, and we go to church, and we develop a different community around us and around our problem, the thing we're trying to solve, this recovery thing. And we develop a community around that so we're not alone, so that we're safe, so that we can find value in ourselves, and so we can give that value to other people. We can give that value to the people around us, because that's what really matters. Is if you're stable and you're good, now you have something to give. A lot of the time we're out there looking to get from. And it's sad when people are trying to get from their children instead of give to. We want to give to them, not get from them. We want to be of value. We want to be a blessing. It's more blessed to give than it is to receive. So we want to establish those things and start slow so that over time, this trust is rebuilt. The relationship is reestablished. That's how this works. I've seen it time and time again. I've seen it done right, and I've seen it done wrong. But this, what I'm saying, take care of yourself first. Go to the meetings, get the sponsors, do the church, have people that you're accountable to in your life. That's what it takes. And on a routine basis, over time, you'll see things come back. You'll start to operate on a different level, because when you first start out, you might be here, right? And we think, right here. But as you develop, you start to think better, and you start to think more clear, and you have more compassion and understanding for others than you had when you were down here. And then that's when that reconnection, that's when you become a safe person for the others to be around. Because when your life's unmanageable, you are not safe. You're not safe for yourself. You're not safe for anybody. And so you become a safe person that can be reconnected with. And that's how you do it. That's how you reestablish that. And just take time, right? And as you're walking it out, have friends, have people that you communicate with, and have that vitamin C communication, have that vitamin C working in your life, so that you're not doing it alone, and you'll see it. We'll just see it work out. So if you found value in this, you stayed this long, for goodness sakes, hit like, subscribe. Let me know. Leave a comment. Let me know if this worked for you. Maybe you did it and it worked. Maybe you did it and it didn't work. What's your story? You tell me your story about what happened. I'd love to hear it. Message me. We talk about it. You need more advice on something, be happy to go through that. Anyway, my name is Randy Stone. So glad you're here. God bless. We'll see you soon.